It's time for some more Bombastic Starleague action. We just concluded the TBT between Terra and Dandy. Terra again getting the best of Dandy this time around in the BSL. Now we're going into what a lot of players would really like to see. It's going to be eOnzErG versus trutaCz. It doesn't get any better than this for ZVZ. I even remember eOnzErG specifically talking about how strong trutaCz's Muta control was in the past when he was starting to learn ZVZ. So this is definitely going to be very exciting. From what I remember watching between these two players, I think trutaCz is favored in this particular matchup, but I could be wrong. I'd have to go through the history of BSL, but I think I'm pretty confident with that assessment. However, trutaCz has been off the past few seasons, and eOnzErG has put up good results.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, eOnzErG did miss last season. He's looking really strong this season around, so I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like, personally, I think eOnzErG's looking much better right now, so I would say if I were a betting man, I would definitely put my money on eOnzErG for this particular series, but at the same time, I am Gypsy, and I'm always wrong when it comes to predictions. So
yes, so once that prediction gets going, guys, I've got 25k channel points. I'm gonna be putting it on trutaCz. I want to double my money. I'm gonna go against the grain here with Gypsy. You always gotta counteract the Gypsy curse. Yeah. Now, ZVZ, we know it's always been Ling and Muta for years upon years upon years, but Gorinich and other players have started to go for more Hydra-based play sometimes. I don't expect to see that at all in this series. Both of these players have the killer instinct. When they see a vulnerability, they're going to go for it, especially eOnzErG. So I see no real game ever going into late game. I don't ever see a Hydra game. I can't imagine that ever happening.
Well, we'll see. I mean, both players are really strong, and it might get into mid-game. Late game in ZVZ is like 15 minutes. So even if we don't see a hive, I feel like we are going to get kind of a longer game at some point. Both players are getting ready. They have banned out the maps. Looks like eOnzErG did not want to play on Blindside. trutaCz didn't want to play on Blue Storm, and the first map is going to be on Eclipse. So Eclipse is a very, very standard map for ZVZ. It's a 2-player map. There's a ramp. So really, this map, there's not going to be shenanigans on it. It's just so hard to get away with anything crazy on a 2-player map with a ramp. But, I mean, there's still a lot of build choices for either player, whether they want to go for fast expansion or they want to go for kind of a faster tech route. They can do it all.
Well, even though you say there may not be or there won't be shenanigans, what instantly came to mind when you said that was Jaeyoon versus trutaCz a couple seasons ago, where trutaCz just sunken rushed the guy. And it is a 2-player map. Spawns are close. If eOnzErG gets too greedy with some type of move, I imagine we could see some type of sunken rush play. I mean, that is so unusual that it's like a 1 out of, maybe even less than 1 out of 1,000, maybe like 1 out of 10,000 that actually happens. But there is potential for funky play from both of these players. In ASL, what was it, Season 9, where Flash played random, there was a double sunken rush versus Larva. So both of these players are aware of a play like that. It would be cool to see on a map like Blue Storm. We do know all of the maps so far. It's going to be Eclipse. No, it's not going to be Blue Storm. It got vetoed.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Blue Storm was picked. My bad. It's going to be Eclipse first, and then Polyvoid, and then Shakuris and Tau. And then the last map is going to be my map. It's going to be Power Bond if it gets there.
Yeah, your map, dude. Your map. More like Nyoken Bond.
Yeah. Could be.
Well,
you know what I'm just noticing right now? None of these maps were bombasticized except for how was Blindside bombasticized?
It wasn't.
BSL Lineside? I can't remember exactly. Yeah, but we haven't seen Bombasticura's Temple or something. Well, we're getting a look at
Bombasticura's Temple.
Yeah, getting a look at the profile. Of course, both of these players, ridiculous win rates. You can see eOnzErG 86% win rate versus Zerg. TrueTouch No Slouch sitting at 71%. BSL Elo, I was checking the BSL website after that got mentioned, and as you pointed out, eOnzErG is in the number 2 slot. So players are ready. Let's get into game 1 of our ZVZ series. It's going to be on Eclipse between eOnzErG and TrueTouch. So in the top right are a blue Zerg player. It is eOnzErG.
Then in the bottom left, it is TrueTouch in that brown Zerg.
Yeah, the brown Zerg. All right,
Yeah.
so there's a whole variety of builds that Zergs can, of course, pull out. You know, got 9 pool, overpool, 12 pool, 12 hatch. If we see an early pool, what is this player looking to get done with it? Is he just denying, like, is he going for speed? Is he going for lair? Well, I guess we have to figure out what the other player is going for also before we make that deduction.
Yeah, well, I totally was not paying attention to what you were saying.
Yeah, I know. And
you're talking about some early pool stuff, but
yeah, well, you guys that were on Reddit like a couple days ago with the drinking game between Nyokin and Gypsy, well, that's a shot for yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
Somebody had a list of quotes when somebody says such and such. That's a shot.
Oh wait, I'm gonna look that up right now in the middle of this cast.
But you know what they didn't put up there? I was shocked. I was scrolling through the list. I'm like, it has to be here. The thing is, it was not mentioned. So I posted anytime Gypsy writes or says the thing is, that's a quarter shot. And well, I guess if you're looking it up right now, you'll see the responses. It was quite hilarious. But we've got early pool from eOnzErG. It was a 9 pool. Meanwhile, this is an over pool from TrueTouch.
Yeah. Apparently, Zero says we'd be drunk if we played this game today. So, or like the chat would. I mean, everyone would be. This is a great party game. Honestly, I feel like the next time I have a party with my friends, you know, if that ever happens there again, you know, we're just gonna load up the BSL VODs on YouTube, of course, Bombastic Starleague on YouTube, guys, and just watch the cast and play the drinking game.
That could be a fun game.
You could bring your think about it. You could bring your tablet to the bar when they open up and just watch BSL VODs with your friends and be like,
I gotta convince the owner to put the games on the screen, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch on the tablet. Get it on the big screen. Well, we've got early pool from eOnzErG. As I pointed out, it's a 9 pool, and he's avoiding this Overlord. Meanwhile, this is ZVZ, so there's no world where any of these eggs morphing are not Lings. So this really shouldn't do that much damage. Actually, it probably won't do any damage. But for now, TrueTouch, I guess, doesn't know exactly what this is. We see that he's ended up going for lair. Meanwhile, eOnzErG ended up going for speed. So this just looks like, oh, what? Is he going to actually get up?
I can't believe this is happening. eOnzErG is going to get up the ramp. He has more. He has more Zerglings coming. This is typical eOnzErG gameplay. He's just going to end the game before it starts. The Sunk is on the way here. A couple more Lings do hatch for TrueTouch, so he will be able to defend. But Ling speed kicks in. He has not killed drones just yet, though, so that's a plus for TrueTouch. Sunken does finish. Overall, I mean, even if they are even on drones, eOnzErG has so many Lings massing up here that for sure he will be able to convert this into a couple of drone kills. Spire's on the way for TrueTouch. I don't think eOnzErG has put down his Spire just yet. Well, his lair is not finished, but he is getting ready for that. This Spire timing is much faster for TrueTouch. He's in a decent defensive position, of course, with that Sunken and the SimCity.
Well, is this enough damage done for eOnzErG? I don't think that it is. He's going to try and come through the bottom. eOnzErG has got a decent amount or a sizable lead on the Lings, but not anymore. It's just 4-2 now. Colony needs to be canceled, I think. That's a waste of it. Yeah, okay, he does cancel it. Every drone's so important in ZVZ. Nicely done from TrueTouch there. Now, if we look just at the gas, there's almost a 300 gas lead for TrueTouch. So once Mutas start coming out, he's going to have a massive advantage.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that eOnzErG didn't quite get more damage done in this situation, and it's really gonna kind of, well, I mean, it is even looking at the supplies, though. eOnzErG does have a couple more units. It looks he actually has a couple of drones, so he did use that opportunity to make a couple more drones here. That's really going to help him, but he does not have a sunken like trutaCz does. These 4 Lings might cause some havoc, though that being said, eOnzErG does have 5 Lings in total. He will be able to defend.
eOnzErG's banking a lot of resources. He's got 500 minerals, 300 gas. Meanwhile, trutaCz has already spent his resources on those 3 Mutalisks. They're coming out right now, moving across the map. Now eOnzErG is going to have to match this Muta count, but because he's down so much gas and also that drone pull that he just did, I don't know if he can ever catch up. And with the sunken, you know, Ling counterattack won't work at all, and the Mutas finding these Lings are critical. So what does eOnzErG need to do to get back into this game at this point?
Well, looks like he's already doing it. He's going to take a faster natural expansion than trutaCz. And, I mean, overall, it does seem like trutaCz does have a bit of a gas advantage. But I don't think this is going to be overwhelming for him to necessarily end the game. And luckily for eOnzErG, he didn't actually lose any overlords here. That was one thing that trutaCz had going for him, was his Mutalisk timing was so fast that he had the opportunity to kill a couple of overlords.
Well, you can see that eOnzErG is building up Scourge. Meanwhile, trutaCz are he's just building up Mutas. It's 7 Mutas versus just 4 for eOnzErG. 5th is going to be coming out pretty soon. But knowing the Muta control of trutaCz and eOnzErG, I don't imagine really Scourge are ever going to connect. With lesser tier Zerg players, yeah, I can see the Scourge connecting, but not with either of these two. So I feel like trutaCz is in a commanding lead right now. Now ZVZ, you can swing it back into your favor if you're able to, you know, kind of catch some of the Mutalisks out of position. eOnzErG almost kills that Overlord.
Oh my god.
He's gonna
that?
Oh no.
That shot from trutaCz actually killed a Scourge.
Oh, did it? Yeah. See,
Yeah.
just the control from both of these players is crazy. And it's almost worthless to build Scourge unless you can have like an overwhelming amount of them. We know that eOnzErG does not have that just yet. trutaCz, he doesn't seem to have enough drones to ever be able to put down that second hatchery while also building constant Mutalisk.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one part of it. I think probably eOnzErG does have it, maybe one more drone. But eOnzErG, when he made those couple of Scourge, like, that's when he banked a couple of minerals to put down this hatchery. So overall, this is so surprising. trutaCz is just, all of a sudden, like, he was in a good spot, and now he's in an absolutely terrible spot because he never made the hatchery. He's going to have to basically win the game with these 11 Mutalisks. I mean, it is 11 Mutalisks. He definitely has more Mutas than eOnzErG. eOnzErG is pushing out. He has, you know, eOnzErG hasn't actually spotted that trutaCz, whether or not trutaCz has an extra hatchery, which is why he's playing so aggressively. I suspect that if eOnzErG knew that there was no natural hatchery from trutaCz, he would just sit in his base with his Mutalisks and mass. It looks like trutaCz is going to attack, gets one drone, but now he sees the bad news that is this extra hatchery from eOnzErG. He's going to try and take a fight. It's all down to the control. trutaCz is just so clinical, man, with these Mutalisks.
They never land. They literally never land. Okay, now they might land. Oh, nope, he takes out all of them, and now eOnzErG's got to test his Muta Micro.
Wow.
And that means that trutaCz is getting free Mutalist shots. It's over, yeah. This is just what happens when you have control like this. There's an overwhelming amount of Mutas. It's 8 versus 5, and trutaCz is going to take game 1 with just superb Muta control. Look at that. I told you, man. It's like absolutely, it's almost like you shouldn't even build the Scourge.
Yeah, that was impressive to say the least from trutaCz. He had to win there because I mean he was behind. Well, he didn't have to win, but he had to do some sort of damage. Surprisingly, he just outright won. He was gonna be in a bad spot because his expansion was much later than eOnzErG's.
Yeah, and eOnzErG, while building consistent Mutas, had a lot of econ. You know, even He could support the extra larva at his natural. He had everything going for him other than, you know, just being down one Mutas. It was really, what was it? I think it was 11 versus 10, but none of the Scourge connected, and then trutaCz ended up fighting Muta versus Muta while he still had 2 Scourge or 4 Scourge left over. And then eOnzErG has to manage that too, and it gets very weird, and you can see how quickly the fight just snowballs in favor of trutaCz. So he's already quickly up 1-0. Now we're going to be getting into game 2. The map is going to be polypoid, so we may actually have a longer game since it's unlikely that both players are going to, you know, scout each other first. And we may see both players open up with something more economical like a 12 hatch.
Well, we'll see. What?
Maybe. You don't have to open up 12 hatch just because it's a big map, but we may see somebody do it.
Yeah, we could see. I mean, it's definitely, you know, Eclipse is the type of map where, I mean, you can open up 12 hatch on any map. You know, you're just banking on them not going for 9 pull, really. So, so you could have definitely seen it on Eclipse as well, but very unlikely since it's just part of why 12 hatch can be good on a larger map is that if you just don't get scouted, you get a huge advantage, whereas already on Eclipse you're guaranteed to get scouted, so kind of diminishes the strength of that build. We'll have to see. I mean, I don't know. We saw eOnzErG go 12 hatch. Who was it that he played ZZZ? It was October Zerg, right? Yeah, it was. Yeah, he went 12 hatch 2 games in a row, so we'll have to see if he does elect to bring it out against trutaCz. Polypoid is going to be map number 2 here. Let's get straight into it.
So in the bottom left, up quickly 1-0. You know who it is. It's trutaCz.
And in the top left, it's eOnzErG.
Well, we see a normal scout pattern from eOnzErG going straight to the natural. Meanwhile, interesting scout pattern from trutaCz. Both of the players are going to intercept each other in the center of the map. So they are going to know their locations pretty much instantly. Now, does this change your build at all? Like, let's imagine both players open with Overlord. Does scouting the Overlord in the center of the map all of a sudden tell you, like, okay, well, I need to build a pool first now because this guy knows where I am? Or do you just continue with, like, a 12 hatch, for example, if that's what you were going for originally?
First, well, I'm no Zerg player, so I don't want to get flamed, and I know a lot of Zerg players, so you know, I don't want to be on their bad side here. But personally, I think that your build order is more or less already decided upon by the time you run into the other person's Overlord. Again, in this situation, eOnzErG will have a distinct advantage because he can see the natural right away. Whereas, even though trutaCz will know that eOnzErG's top left, and even, you know, trutaCz will be able to see the creep in whatever the main base, it'll be so long before he actually confirms what the build order is from eOnzErG. So, whereas eOnzErG immediately will be able to eliminate a bunch of possibilities just from seeing the natural. And not only do you see the natural with this scouting pattern, like in terms of whether or not there's a hatchery, but you do see the Lings coming down the ramp as well for 9 pull timing. trutaCz is going for a 12 hatch here, whereas eOnzErG did go for that 9 pull, so, you know, and he's going to get the first scout. So this basically should be game over.
Well, I don't know about game over because I've seen people hold a 9 pull, but trutaCz is going to have impeccable control with his drones to salvage this opener. And I guess I got my answer because trutaCz did build the Overlord. And then he didn't intercept the Overlord to potentially go for an overpull, go for an overpull. He did build a couple drones, but he didn't go into something like a 12 pull. So I guess the answer is even if you intercept it, you're just going to continue with your original opener. Meanwhile, trutaCz is going to see the bad news that Lings are already headed his way, and that means he's going to have to pull some drones pretty soon.
Yeah, he's dead. Even if he, the thing is,
Oh, that's another shot.
the thing is,
for you,
pour
though,
up
out
those
there.
shots, boys. Even if the 9-pull doesn't kill you, it's just such a huge advantage, like tech-wise. You see, he's already, well, this is the response from trutaCz, but he's actually teching to lair. I wonder if eOnzErG spent them. I'm assuming he went speed, but he's going to be able to just kill these Lings as they pop out. This is such a great engagement from eOnzErG. Sunken is on its way, killing one drone off. He just needs to focus the drones, honestly. Speed is done, so he did go for speed first, but lair is on the way as well for eOnzErG, I imagine. Doesn't kill that drone. Actually, what? What?
Well, trutaCz now has 11 drones, 8 of them on minerals, 3 on gas. So this is a manageable game, and eOnzErG has continued to build Lings, and now with the Sunken up, of course, not going to get any damage done. So this game will go on. trutaCz's gas, despite getting the speed, eOnzErG is in the lead of the gas, I think. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, no, yeah, he built his Spire. I was like, how did he lose so much gas? And the answer is, of course, he built the Spire, so he's, well, I guess it's even right now. But look at that drone count. Non-existent for eOnzErG.
I'm actually surprised, like, that was a big blunder from eOnzErG to lose those Lings. Well, not to lose those Lings, but they should have definitely traded for a lot more drones. It is going to be a sunk rush, but there's already a Sunken.
Yeah, but well, he can't build it anywhere.
And he's already committed to getting a Spire. Like, I don't know.
Well, he's gonna try and build it on the corner of the base, and there's not enough Lings to actually stop this. Maybe that Sunken needs to get down to 100 health, and it will instantly die. But eOnzErG is not able to kill it in time. Look at it; it survives with, what did that say, 3 health. And this Sunken push is gonna be denied, and eOnzErG has absolutely no econ. trutaCz has great econ, but eOnzErG does have gas advantage.
I think it's very similar econ.
No, trutaCz has 8 drones versus just 5 for eOnzErG. Okay, is it 6 now? I guess he did lose a couple of drones.
Dude, I don't know what game you're watching. I mean, he's significantly ahead. eOnzErG is. I mean, sorry, trutaCz is, because when you have only 4 drones mining, you hate to see that. Well,
Scourge?
That's actually kind of smart.
Well, it needs to get there ASAP, and if he can sit on these eggs. Now, the hard part is, how is he going to clone all of these Scourge? Because he doesn't want to use 6 on 1 Muta. That's for damn sure. Well, is he going to get here in time? This is so razor thin. Oh my gosh, he did. Are you serious? He split them all up perfectly. Now it's up to trutaCz. Can he? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Well, yeah, those, well, he kills a couple of drones. Dude, this game's absolutely cracked. I don't know.
Oh, look at this. He somehow gained some distance between these Scourge, and oh, that one didn't fire, but he picks up one of them. This is so hard to do with just 2 Mutas, because it's not the magic number you need to one-shot the Scourge. Impeccable control again from trutaCz, and with 6 Scourge, he's only able to kill 1. Of course, 2 of them are heavily damaged. So eOnzErG needs to find those Mutas, and he found them.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, 1 Mutalist is not gonna... Is it, though?
It took out 1 of them.
Wait, this is actually kind of insane if eOnzErG pulls this one out. But that is 4 Mutalisk versus 3. 4th Mutalisk for eOnzErG joining the flock. Couple of Scourge out for trutaCz, though. Yeah, eOnzErG's gonna go for it, but the Scourge connects immediately! It was 2-on-1, though. Did not spread them out, but overall, trutaCz's Mutalisks have more health, and he has 3 of them versus the 2 of eOnzErG. What's that coming in for eOnzErG? There's 1 more Mutalisk, maybe? Yeah, but... Oh, they're not gonna get in range to moving shot finish that Mutalisk from eOnzErG, so the game will go on, but eOnzErG only has 4 drones mining minerals, whereas trutaCz has had 6, now 5, getting a second hatchery as well. I'm surprised that he's actually building the hatchery inside of his base. Doesn't quite, well, I mean, he doesn't quite recognize how far ahead he is, but it would be hard for trutaCz to know because he hasn't really gotten too much scouting, although he did have a Ling earlier inside of eOnzErG's base. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, this second hatchery is going to be huge for him.
Yeah, additional larva, massive deal in ZVZ. He's going to be able to pump out more Lings, more drones if he gets his econ up and running. Meanwhile, trutaCz ended up building a couple Scourge himself. It's 4 Mutas versus 3 Mutas and just 2 Scourge. Those 2 Scourge of trutaCz kind of out in no man's land. I don't know what he's looking for here. Does he want to just sit on one of those eggs?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Well, trutaCz is getting some scouting intel.
Uh-oh.
Here comes eOnzErG. The connections are not... Oh my god, dude.
He got one. Oh, no, he didn't. He didn't get one. But it's 4 Mutas, I think, for eOnzErG versus just 3 for trutaCz. Wow, actually, eOnzErG gets a connection right there. But trutaCz managed to get a connection also. But here comes some more Scourge. trutaCz didn't pay attention. And those Scourge got separate hits, whittling down all of the Mutalisks. And this is going to be eOnzErG taking game 2, I think. Look, there's no drones left.
Yeah, but I mean, he has a couple of drones. He has a lot of drones queued up. Oh my god. What is going on? This...
Oh, he got him!
Oh my god! That Scourge didn't actually register. The damage didn't register. That's so unlucky for eOnzErG.
Well, I guess it's not over just yet because both players have lost all of their Mutalisks. trutaCz has 1 left over, and because he has double hatcheries, he can rebuild his drone count. This game's nuts.
Dude.
I think trutaCz is going to start catching back up simply
trutaCz
because
is so
he
far
has
ahead,
that.
though. Like, he has
He's so far ahead?
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
We'll see if eOnzErG can micro as well as trutaCz does with just 2 Scourge, with just 2 Mutalisks. I mean, oh, a Muta pops out and takes a hit from one of the Scourge.
Oh my god, even more Scourge intercepting. Big time connections. Nah, there's no way trutaCz... Well, trutaCz doesn't have spores though, so there is a very real risk of him over-droning, but it looks like he's spending his gas as it's coming in. So, you know, he's going to be able to make Mutalisks and drones at the same time, whereas eOnzErG is not.
Yeah, trutaCz needs to start just building up his drone count while only building Mutalisks, and then get an evolution chamber, build a spore colony, and then there's no world where eOnzErG can ever take a fight in the main of trutaCz again. And then he could just simply overwhelm with Lings. I mean, look at the drone count from eOnzErG. It's still only at 5. Meanwhile, trutaCz has built it up to 8 on minerals. That's massive. Drones are now coming in for eOnzErG, going up to 6. But he's just never going to have the mineral econ that trutaCz has.
Yeah. You're totally right. And eOnzErG, the one thing he could have done to maybe even out this game is to completely stop Mutalisk production, make only drones, try and put down a second hatchery, and then resume Mutalisk production. And hopefully trutaCz, because you see trutaCz is playing like, it's very hard for trutaCz to play any other way because he does not have tempo on the map. Tempo on the map is so important in ZVZ. Whoever has the Mutalisks out first, they gain such a huge advantage because they can... Did you see that, by the way? He was like shooting the extractor to bounce it onto... Okay.
He does that all the time. This is why trutaCz is just ridiculous in the matchup. He thinks about things that most other players don't think about, and now Evolution Chamber is about to finish. He's going to have a score, and eOnzErG's window of opportunity to get some damage done is dwindling. Scourge still don't connect. Meanwhile, trutaCz is one of them does. We're going to have the Spore Colony completed at the top side. I guess there's that sweet spot, the Gypsy spot, at the bottom side, but he obviously doesn't know about that. He doesn't want to engage this. And again, we still don't see a hatchery up at the natural for eOnzErG. I'm waiting for trutaCz to realize that, hey, I don't need any more drones. I can start building Lings, because then eOnzErG is obligated to just stay in his main all the time. Otherwise, he risks getting breached.
Well, it's actually okay for trutaCz to like make drones because that's going to allow him to take his third hatchery that much faster. I don't think he necessarily needs to make Lings to just end the game. I feel like if trutaCz just starts building his natural, he's going to win the game. But at the same time, eOnzErG still has a significant amount of Mutalisks. It doesn't look like trutaCz is really overwhelming the production just yet. And I'm surprised that he's playing this defensively, having a Spore. Like, if he went up to a Spore, that's a huge investment. That's 2 drones plus the resources, which is really kind of the only reason why he's not at a significant advantage, economically speaking. But he's not using that Spore to play more aggressively. He has his Overlords going to the bottom side, kind of on purpose, apparently, to just scout for counterattacks from that angle, but he's still kind of just chilling inside of his base with his Mutalisks.
Look at this play from trutaCz. He's sending a drone to the bottom right side, and he's going to build a hatchery there. And it's genius because he knows that eOnzErG can never match the production from him. So if eOnzErG sends Mutas over there, well, guess where there's not defense? There's no defense in his main. He can instantly counterattack. You can see eOnzErG's trying to jump on this, but this is suicide, man. There's a Spore colony here, and it does a lot of damage. Now it's 7 versus 6. There's a Mutalisk lead for trutaCz at this point.
Yeah, but eOnzErG also has some good micro himself. Though, yeah, it's hard to judge exactly where you're at in terms of Mutalisk count here. trutaCz might not feel confident in taking the fight. Doesn't want to risk losing the game. He does not have a gas lead at this point, so the Scourge did come back. They actually just missed.
Oh, okay, that was game-winning move right there. Now he knows, obviously, I've got 5 and you've got 1, and he can just retreat to his Spore, or he can take the hard route and just, you know, micro and take the victory that way. Oh, well, we might see a tap out. Yep, there it is. eOnzErG, he's going to fall down 2-0. And trutaCz, who was on the back foot, didn't you call it? The game's over, man. Twice you called the game's over. And eOnzErG takes it.
That's
or not eOnzErG, trutaCz.
That's the kind of game you just mentally check out as eOnzErG. Can't, you know, when you lose 9 pull versus 12 hatch in that situation, first scout with, yeah, it's just so unfortunate for eOnzErG. Dude, that game had me, Medina saying that I sounded like Mickey Mouse. That game had me sounding like
hear
Mickey
that clip.
Mouse.
Wherever the Mickey Mouse clip is, definitely clip that so I can hear it.
It's right here, dude. I'm gonna I'll link it to you. But exciting game nonetheless. Actually, honestly though, I just don't know what I'm talking about. It goes to show that I am completely clueless at this game. Time and time again in the BSL, I make my predictions. I say the game's over and the other player wins. And it's really my way of shaping the tournament into what I want it to be. Secretly, I want trutaCz to win. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that would set us up for potentially trutaCz versus Bonnet finals if they go through their respective brackets. But now we're going into potentially the last game. It's going to be eOnzErG, no, not eOnzErG's pick. It's going to be trutaCz's pick, and he's picked Shakura, so we've got another 4-player map. And if you're eOnzErG and you cancel the 12 hatch with a 9 pull, and you still can't win the game, you know his mindset is a little bit shaken here.
Yeah. Well, his mindset is definitely shaken after not winning 9 pull versus 12 hatch. It's gonna be hard. Shakura's Plateau, another 4-player map here, so very similar to Polypoid in that regard. It's just so annoying when you do a 9 pull and you lose, like, you know, you just have to toss that game out and not think about it. I think eOnzErG's gonna go for his tried and tested 12-12-11. You know, he plays 12 pull a lot. I think this is the game where he's gonna whip it out. trutaCz, who knows what he will do. It is going to be do or die though for eOnzErG.
Yeah, he's going to have to come up with something. Obviously the 9 pull was a great opener for him, but was not able to transition it into a victory. You know, he opened up with what position was he on the Eclipse? I can't remember exactly, but we're going to get into Shakura's Temple now. This is potentially the last map for eOnzErG. This is a must win for him. So chat, you got to give him his energy, otherwise he's going to be eliminated. So let's find out if trutaCz can deal the killing blow here. It's going to be on Shakura's Temple. So in the bottom left, down 2-0, it is eOnzErG.
And then the top right, in the gray Zerg, it is trutaCz.
So we've got cross spawns again. So similar to Eclipse. However, 4-player map. Both players are not going to diagonal scout, obviously. And we've got, well, both players may
What if
intercept.
that's the ultimate meta play, dude? Just diagonal scouting.
I've seen that one time, and I have no idea why the guy ended up doing that. It didn't help him at all, if I remember correctly. It was years ago. So
well,
yeah,
dude, eOnzErG's doing the anti-meta scout. Last game it was trutaCz. Now it's eOnzErG.
Oh yeah, he is going for the horizontal scout here when you would expect it to be at the top left direction. Meanwhile, again, an aggressive opener from eOnzErG. He's going to go for the 9-pool opener. And trutaCz, he already built an overlord. He did not put down the overpool. So I think we're going to see that 12 hatch opener again.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, well, it looks like it's going to be an 11 hatch, so a bit more conservative. No, 12 hatch. Yeah.
Well,
why wouldn't you? I mean, last game he did 12 hatch and he held 9 pool, so like, but this is another 9 pool. I love this from eOnzErG actually. In base 12 hatch
in main. Okay. So
well, this is going to be fine, especially because it's cross spawn.
Yeah, that means that this hatch is not going to be denied. However, you really don't see this that often.
Well,
so
here's the thing. If eOnzErG, for some reason...
Yeah? That's another shot, by the way.
Here's the thing, boys. Bottoms up. If eOnzErG, for some reason, goes lair first, that's going to be really good for him. Nope, he goes speed. Now that's really bad for him.
Well, trutaCz doesn't have gas, and I was thinking, are we going to see potentially a 3rd hatch? And this might be the one game where we may see Evolution Chamber play from trutaCz here. I'm shocked that there's no gas. Actually, I'm kind of wondering, is this, what is this? Is this Faust on trutaCz's account right now? Are we going to see Lingman on 3 hatches?
trutaCz actually... I can't believe he, like... moved the overlord from that scout. Like, he went halfway and stopped scouting there, but that's not the path you would expect eOnzErG to take because it's not the meta path. So very weird scouting from trutaCz, and it's gonna work out. He's actually going 3 hatch.
Yeah, that's a 3rd hatch at his natural. He doesn't have any Lings out. In these first 2 Lings, he may be thinking, oh, okay, it's just 2 Lings. But actually, there's 10 Lings. And trutaCz only is going to have 8. I think that this hatchery going down already was a bit ambitious, and you can see speed is already kicked in, but now ramp advantage is going to kick in for trutaCz. He's going to, oh, he's not going to trade as effective, and this might be game over because there's 5 Lings in his base. Sure, he's going to have equal amount of Lings pretty soon, but he doesn't have speed anytime soon. He hasn't even started it yet.
Well, eOnzErG has to kill drones. If he doesn't kill drones, he's dead.
Well, we'll see if he can get some drone kills. He can also swarm those eggs like he's doing. And behind this, he's got, well, I don't even know if he has a lair because he has a lot of gas and minerals built up.
Yeah, he didn't start his lair, it looks like. No,
he did. Okay. It's already done. Spire's going to start, and that 3rd hatch, it hasn't been canceled, right? Yeah, it's completed. That feels like a misstep.
He kind of has to kill this hatchery though, because the Ling Flood is not. He's not going to be able to stop 3 hatcheries worth of Zerglings with just the 1 hatch, especially taking up this fire. But he's doing a good job. Good micro here from eOnzErG, holding the ramp. Yeah, he will have to survive the counterattack. Speed is on the way for trutaCz. Oh, is he going to finish the hatchery? No, he's just going to straight up fight these Zerglings. He actually still continued to make Lings non-stop off the 1 hatchery. This is risky, man, because he's not pulling larva for Mutalisks, and he's not going to be able to match the Zergling count from trutaCz. And honestly, trutaCz, yeah, losing that hatchery, I mean, it's obviously a huge blow to him, but he can still play this game out. He can still go into Evolution Chamber. Without that natural expansion, though, it's going to be much harder for him to come back.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking, like, wow, that 3rd hatch seemed way too fast to be going down. But, you know, of course, trutaCz has played that build, obviously, a million times, or I expect him to have played that a million times, so he obviously knows what he's doing. Meanwhile, oh, that is going to be a sunken rush. So, again, we're going to see an aggressive play. He knows that he has the Ling advantage, and he knows that the Spire is going to be completing pretty soon. eOnzErG is trading as well as you possibly can. That arc at the ramp is fantastic. The drone has not been shown just yet.
Yeah, trutaCz knows what he's doing.
But he's pouncing on that sunken.
And eOnzErG's actually only mining with a couple of double drones here and non-stop links. Actually, trutaCz actually is gonna win this game.
Yeah, he might win this game. He might end up closing it out. The sunken, he doesn't have the money to morph it. It ends up dying. And the question now is, what about those Lings in the main of trutaCz? Are they have...
Spore?
Yeah, he's gonna build a Spore with it.
I like that actually.
We saw this versus Jaeyoon, as I said, and eOnzErG hits critical that he kills the Spore.
I don't know, like, I feel like that should have been a sunken, right?
Well, the problem is that the Mutas can kill...
Yeah, the one Muta doesn't kill the sunken fast enough. There's gonna be a second creep colony on its way to be a Spore, like...
Yeah, well, I mean, even if it was a sunken, right, like, the Spore didn't even morph either, so does the sunken build
no, it
faster?
finished. Well, the sunken would have maybe killed the Lings, like... Anyway, I mean, I don't think...
Oh, it did finish, yes, that's true.
Yeah, so... Though it does have... Spores do have more HP than sunkens, right? Oh no, they have the same. Do they?
Well, after they're done, the Spore has more health, right?
Well, that's the... Oh yeah, so, like... You know that trick with the creep colony doesn't work with the Spore, right? So maybe that was also what he was thinking.
It could have been. Well, still, trutaCz has a lot of Lings. He has a ton of Lings. But his econ is shot, luckily for him. He does have the double hatchery, so he's got a lot of larvae available to him. However, this is going to be so hard for him, and he has to make something happen with these Lings while the Mutas are out of position somehow. eOnzErG, of course, knows that. So he just sent out a couple of Mutalisks looking for Overlords while keeping the majority of his Mutalisks defending the ramp. And you can see he did find an Overlord at top left.
Well, this is going to be really hard for trutaCz to come back from. Usually when you're playing this type of defensive Spore play, you have at least you have a second base to work with, and that's important because that allows you to even out the gas disadvantage, because obviously when you're sporing up, you don't actually want to be mining too much gas, and the player that goes for the faster layer will have been mining for a lot longer than you have. But at the same time, he has way more drones to work with.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, you really
how's he ever going to take his natural with the Mutalisks out on the game?
That's the real question, is how do you get the natural? You can't match the Muta count ever. Layer's 100, Spire's 150, and then there's a 5 Muta advantage. So that's 750 gas advantage for eOnzErG right now. And
this
he's
is actually
found
a situation,
the gypsy spot.
Dude, this is actually a situation where eOnzErG should not expand on low ground, because he does not need more gas.
That's right, he doesn't need it. There's no way that trutaCz can ever
all
take
this
another
does
base.
All this does for eOnzErG is it creates another spot that forces him to defend. Like, if it was in his main, it was much easier to defend against mass Lings or something like that if your second hatchery is in the main. But if it's at the natural, then that opens up trutaCz to allow him to go for counterattacks, to keep the Mutalisks back inside of eOnzErG's base while he takes his own natural. So strategically here, not ideal from eOnzErG, to be completely honest with you. And it's really, taking this natural is going to allow trutaCz back into this game, possibly.
Well, this is going to get wild because eOnzErG knows there's 3 Spores in the main and no Sunkens. And once eOnzErG shows these Lings, all of trutaCz's Lings are going to attack. And this might backfire. We know that trutaCz has a lot of drones and he has a lot of larvae available. However, he's supply blocked at this moment, so he can't build anything. But you can see that trutaCz has gone for it on the other side of the map. Looks like it did not work out. He taps out. So eOnzErG does take game 3, a wild one. That third hatch was questionable. I was really
It's so weird, man. If he had just gone for like a normal build, he would have been in such a good spot. Such a good spot. That third hatch. I mean, it was so close too with the sunken rush, though. Yeah. I don't know. That third hatch was interesting.
Yeah, just
you
as
think
it
was
went down.
just the mass Lings or what?
Huh? Yeah,
you
I
think
think.
it was?
Well, I don't think it. I think it was for mass Lings and then transition into evolution chamber. Like, I don't think that it was just, we don't have any drones. It's just going to be Lingman the whole game.
It would counter 12 full 12 hatch. Yeah, that's right, because he actually wasn't. He hadn't scouted eOnzErG yet. He was kind of just blindly going that. And Zero, of course, Zero's actually our resident ZVZ expert, pointing out that had eOnzErG gone for his standard 12 full 12 hatch, or whatever, 12 full 12 gas on hatch, whatever, any kind of 12 full play, he would be massively behind. But at the same time, I feel like that's fine actually, because trutaCz does have a lot of games to work with. He can go for something more blind countery like that. The reality is the 12 hatch is already going to be pretty good against 12 pool, but the drawback is if he 12 hatches against a 12 pool and the 12 pool gets the second hatch at the natural, then trutaCz would eventually be behind. So actually it makes a lot of sense in a way, but it was very tilted towards one angle, right?
Well, I don't mind the third hatch. What I mind was the timing of it. Is it didn't account for 9 pool or overpool, right? Like, he just put it down, and then if there's a 9 pool or an overpool, we just lose. That's my main issue. Is I think it should have been delayed a little bit.
Yeah, it is weird, because then you would expect, like, why would you 12 hatch in base? Anyway, it doesn't. The thing is, when you're a player, you don't actually like think this much about what just happened. But if you're gonna 12 hatch in base, the 12 hatch, like the in base 12 hatch, is specifically against 9 pool. Like, you're in basing 12 hatch to better your odds against 9 pool, but then you shift your build to something that is extremely weak to 9 pool. So why not just put the hatchery at the natural in the first place, I feel like, and then you would be covered for the 12 pool, where you would be at disadvantage if the other player went for a natural hatchery. Anyway, who knows?
Yeah. So we're going to be going into Tau Cross. That's going to be eOnzErG's map pick. That means that if he wins here, we're going to be setting up for a power bond game 5. So let's get into Tau Cross, see if eOnzErG can tie it up 2-2. So in the red in the top right, giving a game to eOnzErG, it is trutaCz.
And in the yellow in the bottom, it is eOnzErG.
Yeah, in the yellow. So both players are going to surprisingly scout each other first. eOnzErG going north, trutaCz going to that southern position, a bit of an unorthodox scout pattern.
Yeah, again, eOnzErG goes for the standard scouting pattern and trutaCz for the non-standard.
Yeah.
The last game it was trutaCz that went for non-standard, but then he even the scouting pattern last game was kind of cracked out of his mind, because like halfway he's just shifting the Overlord already. It was very interesting. But there's always a reason. And the thing is, these are small intricacies that you really only pick up on if you play a lot of ZVZs. So there must have been a very specific reason for trutaCz, where it's like trutaCz just didn't want to, he's happy with the scout as long as he doesn't get scouted first. Like, that's the most important thing with what he's doing. Oh, that's why he actually shifted that Overlord. It makes sense. Anyway.
So we see that both players have gone for a pretty fast gas. No pool just yet for either one. eOnzErG going to put down that pool at, what was that, 10? Meanwhile, going to be a matching pool timing from trutaCz. However, he is down 1 drone if I'm... No, it was the same. Just the 8 looks like, or the 9 looked like an 8 on my screen.
Well, of course, Tau Cross is the first map that we're going to play on where there's no ramp to use, so it does change the dynamic quite a bit in this matchup. It's harder to hold against mass Lings, though the choke on this map is quite small. It's very easy to set up an arc but of course it's again not as defensible as a ramp. And generally, the go-to build on these types of maps has always been 12, 12, 11. It looks like both players instead opting for a fast lair build. They're literally doing the same build.
Yeah, it's a mirrored build across the board. You can see that the only difference is eOnzErG has, or trutaCz has 8 more gas, and that's it. We have an additional drone for trutaCz, so he's got a little bit more econ. Now, eOnzErG is kind of, well, I thought he was hiding those Zerglings off to the side. Meanwhile, both players are going to get into the main and see that, well, I guess they don't know exactly whether this was pool or gas before pool, but I'm sure someone said, oh, there is a hatchery going down for trutaCz, and you can see eOnzErG is going to match the hatchery timing himself.
Yeah, well, second hatchery in base. In base hatching makes a lot of sense, especially when you're going for this build, because you can. This is the type of build that allows you to get 600 gas up and running for the 6 Mutalisks, and it's more important to just get those Mutalisks out than to jeopardize. You don't, because you go for the fast lair, you don't have speed. It's very hard to defend your natural expansion, so it makes a lot of sense, both players with that in-base hatchery.
Have an engagement. eOnzErG trying to push the issue, and he is able to bust through. trutaCz doesn't have a lot of Lings right now. He may have even been building an Overlord. You can see that he's close to being supply blocked. First couple Lings are going to pop out to save the day. Sunken, or at least a colony is being morphed in his main. He cancels that. You can see trutaCz with a slight supply lead right now. His hatchery timing is, maybe like 2 seconds ahead of eOnzErG, so no massive difference there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I am looking at the gas. There is a decent gas lead for eOnzErG. It's approaching 100, which is almost an additional Mutalisk. It's at least 1 Scourge advantage for him so far, so that could come into play as the game progresses.
Well, I mean, eOnzErG. Well, actually, neither player did go for speed. Looks like actually maybe trutaCz did. Yeah, is that, those aren't upgraded, right?
No, they are not upgraded.
So both players playing extremely aggressively with Lings despite not going for speed. So kind of risky play, honestly, but the correct play in a sense, because they know that the other player doesn't have speed, and that's going to be important. Obviously, that extra 100 gas can allow them to get the +1 attack outright, or can get them +1 carapace much earlier. But it is very, very mirrored builds from both players.
Well, first few Mutas are out for eOnzErG. That means that these Lings are toast. They're going to try and get as much damage done as possible, maybe pop a drone, but not successful. Oh, did he get one? He actually did get one, so those 6 Lings did not die in vain. Meanwhile, trutaCz will see if he's going to match the Scourge count with matching Scourge himself, or if he's just going to continue to go the mass Mutalisk route, which we saw him pull out on was it Eclipse? Or maybe it was Hollywood, I can't remember exactly. But we'll see how he fares this time around. So far, he does have pure Mutalisk versus, I think, 5 Mutalisk for eOnzErG and 2 Scourge.
Yeah, and, in this type of situation, it's very hard to make anything happen. Generally, I mean, we'll see if either player tries to go for an extra set of drones. What's really important is whoever gets the 3rd hatchery going, but, of course, if you try and go for that 3rd hatchery, you always open yourself up to some kind of timing attack from the other player. So we'll see who is more daring to venture out on the map. It is hard in ZVZ because, at some point, even though eOnzErG here is losing a lot of Lings, that's almost worth, because he at least knows where the Mutalisk position is on the map, so he can kind of afford, just information on where the Mutalisks are is so crucial in this matchup.
It is true. Anytime there is a backstab and it can get even just one drone can change the tide of the game. So this, oh, Scourge. Oh, they almost get a connection, but not, oh, that might have been a connection for eOnzErG finally. Now both players are going to engage in the center of the map. I think trutaCz has a slight advantage. It's 8-6, 8-7 really. Two players or two Mutalists are heavily damaged for both sides. Now it's 9-7. So trutaCz still in the lead in terms of the Muta count, but the Scourge, of course, if they get great hits, can sway it in his favor. There's no Lings out for trutaCz. Okay, he has a couple near his mineral line, but I don't think he realizes that.
That is so many more Mutalists for trutaCz, though. All he has to do is micro correctly, and he does. And somehow eOnzErG gets stuck on the Overlord. The Mutas aren't in range to moving shot them down. And that's going to be, oh my god, actually, trutaCz feels the need to come back and defend his base. He doesn't want to lose all of his drones. Makes a bunch of units out of those larvae. That might actually be drones to compensate for losing some, especially because he did win the Mutalist fight so hard. Evolution Chamber going down for eOnzErG. Not what you want to see, because that's actually 3 drones down the drain. eOnzErG is never going to see his expansion built this game. And trutaCz is getting a sunken of his own in his base because he wants to allow himself to be able to attack. eOnzErG's dead, man. This game's donezo.
Well, there's 10 Mutalists versus just 4 right now. And trutaCz is going to come in here and see that spore colonies are being morphed, but really, he could wipe out that. Oh, is he going to find isolated Mutalists? No, those 3 in the back are able to get away. However, there's that sweet spot, the gypsy spot. He's just hanging out, man, and he's gonna be able to eliminate half of the mineral patches just hanging out there. Oh, he's just going for it. He realized that I don't care about one spore and 2
just
Mutas.
So many Mutalists, and eOnzErG has none. trutaCz can just eradicate the entire mineral line. It looks like eOnzErG is going for a counterattack himself, but doesn't have enough Mutalists. I mean, these are good trades, but there's only 4 Mutalists, so trutaCz will make his way back. eOnzErG is not mining. trutaCz is just making drones in front of eOnzErG, doesn't care, and that's going to be it.
This is going to be the game-ending move because he's just going to lose all of his Mutalists again, or the majority of them, and his econ has been shattered. He hasn't sent any of his drones off of the gas because if he ever does, how does he ever catch up in the Muta count? The answer is he doesn't. So he has to continue to mine gas, but he needs to replenish his drones at the same time. You can see the supply 35 to 15. There's no hope for eOnzErG. The spore, we have to have a Michael moment where trutaCz suicides into spores, but that's not going to happen.
That was so unfortunate, man. Getting flashbacks to that. trutaCz is in a commanding lead. I mean, this is really, he's doubling the supply. He has the 3rd hatchery going. Couple of Scourge do pop. He was going to spread them out just to scout for more Mutalists and finds them. eOnzErG trying desperately to keep himself in the game, but that's going to be all she wrote for this one. trutaCz is going to go to the semifinals over eOnzErG. Just a matter of time here before we see the tap out.
Yeah, it's what, 8 Mutalists versus 0 right now. eOnzErG has a bank to build 4, but he just doesn't have the econ to get himself back into the game. If he had his Nat up and running with spores and second gas, maybe he could, bring it back. But there's just no hope for him. He's going to play it out. He's going to try and salvage the game. But as we stated before, just like in the Shakuras game, how does he ever get his Nat? Like, how does he ever get the second gas? He's just never going to. And we see that trutaCz already has his 3rd hatch pretty much done.
Yeah.
You can see trutaCz is scouting the rest of the map because he's wondering, like, okay, well, I have an overwhelming amount of Mutas. How else can you possibly win this game? The only way he can is if there's a hidden base somewhere, and we see that it just doesn't exist.
No, you're totally right. I mean, trutaCz is doing exactly what he needs to do at this point. Just make sure that there's not something that he's miscalculating. It's kind of like, pinch me. Am I dreaming? Pinch me. Am I dreaming? Like, am I really this far ahead? Is this really game over? Something's not adding up. But, just confirming his lead at this point, getting that natural going. I love this type of play. I love this type of play from trutaCz. Doesn't need to pressure, doesn't need to push any advantage here. Just making sure that he establishes his infrastructure before going for the throat. Of course, I mean, he wouldn't be able to kill eOnzErG with what he has just yet because of those 2 spores. eOnzErG fighting it out because it is his tournament life here, but again, you can see 20 supply up in the ZVZ is massive.
Yeah, especially with his Nat up and running and eOnzErG not having a Nat. The only thing that could make it an even harder blowout is if we have +1 armor kick in for trutaCz. Obviously a massive upgrade in ZVZ. I would like to see trutaCz style here. Put down that Queen's Nest, get into Hive, get 1 Devourer. And, oh, okay, or we can do this. Just take another base. That's fine. He has so many drones.
Yeah, he does have so many drones.
Is he sending drones out? He's sending drones out somewhere.
I mean, trutaCz just... I feel like he can almost grief at this point, you know, like...
He's styling.
Yeah, he is. Making a lot of Scourge, too. Well,
he's gonna give eOnzErG a fighting chance. You know, 10 Mutas versus 12 and some Scourge. If all of eOnzErG's Scourge lands and none of trutaCz's land, I guess there is a world where eOnzErG could win the fight. Look at this. He takes another base. He knows it's over. I would like to see him just take trutaCz's Nat. Oh, you see, actually, eOnzErG went to scout that. That's why he sent those Mutas out. He's like, I know you're not building a hatchery at my base.
Could be. I mean, he's just clowning around here. Dude, he really should just build a hatchery at eOnzErG's natural at this point.
Well, eOnzErG, despite knowing that those Mutas were out of position, he doesn't go for a backstab or anything. Surprisingly, he's able to get this hatchery down. Ling instantly scouts it, though. 4th hatch is up for trutaCz. Meanwhile, 5th and 6th hatch going up at top left. He's still up 25 supply. Where are the Mutalists for eOnzErG? Okay, I see they're on the right side of the map, and they're going to go for a backstab right now that he knows that the Mutalists are heading over towards that left base. Now, trutaCz doesn't have any spores. Oh, well, okay, he eats a bunch of Scourge hits right there.
Yeah,
he just has...
He doesn't have spores, but he has 2 control groups and Mutalists and a bunch of Scourge, so he's going to intercept eOnzErG's Mutalists at this point. I'm actually surprised he's not just running in here. It is only 2 spores. I mean, spores... The DPS from spores is incredible, but it's not unsurmountable, let's say. So, a couple of Lings here from eOnzErG. Still no Ling speed. Annoying, but trutaCz does find the 1 hidden base from eOnzErG. He is going to quickly dispatch of it. And now with... I mean, look at the map. GG. Good luck in next rounds. Very mannered from eOnzErG. trutaCz is going to take it. 3-1, getting into the semifinals, and we're there, dude.
We are there. We find out who our top 4 finalists are going to be. It's going to be Zeke versus Bonnet, and then we're going to have Terror versus trutaCz. So 2 star-studded round of 4 lineups. Again, we still have the dream scenario of trutaCz versus Bonnet being the final matchup. Also, seeing Terror versus Bonnet would set up a rematch from last season, right? Didn't we see that? Terror got 2nd place last season. I think I remember that correctly. Yeah. Either way, this is going to be really, really good finals and 3rd place match. And of course, maybe Zeke can finally be the one to dethrone Bonnet. We know Zeke's ZVP is really, really good.
Yeah, it certainly is. Bonnet, of course, has struggled with one matchup in this tournament in general in the BSL, and it has been versus Zerg, right? You remember he did lose even the finals, was it? Versus eOnzErG a long time ago there. So this could be the time, because even if he doesn't lose here versus Siki, I mean, there's a chance that he plays trutaCz in the finals if he gets past Siki, and that is going to be just as hard of a matchup. But of course, Terror versus trutaCz could go either way. We'll have to see. But we already know what our semifinals are looking like. Just the star-studded semis, for sure.
Yeah, so that is going to be the end of today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, we want to shout out our sponsors, of course, Esport Fund, continuous support of the BSL for the past few seasons. Thank you so much. And then viewers out there, You can support us through Patreon at the $100 level. We have Star Lover, Colonel level, Grail, Striker, and FTX Sony. $30 level to Apocalypse and Gruglog, and $20 level Cuz X Civil War X, Christian Eddington, Mad Cat's Fury Road, Martin Harsmar, LML, and Ling and Pump. And all you other Patreon supporters, thank you so much for supporting the BSL. And then, of course, we have the Bombastic shop. Hit me with it, Gypsy.
Well, if you want a hat, you can
that
get
looks
a
like
Super
Bakuryu styling with that hat.
Bakuryu? Yeah, it kind of looks like him. Damn, I haven't seen him stream in a long time. I wonder what has happened to him. Hope he's well. There's also the Game On Gamers shirt. That's right.
Game On Gamers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's your catchphrase. Along with
I
the thing is,
totally
the
buy
reality
that.
is.
Yeah, the thing is, dude, that would be good. Good shirt. I'm gonna make Zero so much money with these catchphrases. It's unbelievable. Of course, you can also check out the Bombastic Starleague on YouTube. If you ever want to watch any of the VODs, make sure to link these ones and go subscribe, like the videos, comment on them, whatever. Pray to the YouTube algorithm that maybe it'll notice us at some point. And that's gonna be it, man. That was the round of 8 in 1 week. And the next weekend is going to be the round of 4. And finals.
Yeah. So there's only 1 more week left of BSL. It's gone by so quickly. So you guys out there spending your
you
weekend...
missed most of it because you had to study and stuff.
I missed 1. That's it. But I missed my boy. I missed Jae-yoon, man.
Yeah.
We had no NA representatives.
I don't think you missed
round
much.
of 8.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this weekend. We'll see you guys next weekend. Same time, same place. Here in the BSL studios. With Guy and Nine. But for now...
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's it. Dude, come on. See you guys next week.